Anti-trans ads in Virginia air with a massive failure rate. Universities respond to the administration's demands. School board voters reject candidates. Legal aid and communities are brought together for the safety of transgender people. All this and more on Trans News. Hello everyone, welcome back to Trans News. My name is Wesley, he, they, and today I am here to report on the good, bad, and even news of what is happening in the world for trans people today. First up, Virginia had a victory on November 5th with Abigail Spanberger set to swear in. However, the main focus seen by the media was surrounded by her opponent's campaign ads. Earl Sears, the Republican nominee, used digital ads, text messages, campaigns, and stump spots to promote an anti-trans focused ad against Spanberger. The ad ended as an echo of past ads against Kamala Harris, stating Spanberger was "she's for they, them." Senator Danica, a Democrat from Prince William County and also the first elected trans official of Virginia, said in a statement, quote, "They put this out there and they were wrong," unquote, in reference to the ad's predicted success rate. She also noted that the Republicans' Governor Association, quote, "wasted millions of dollars poured into Virginia's races this year," unquote. Don Scott, the Virginia House Speaker, weighed in with the quote, "They, Virginia Republicans, like to talk about all the time the pee and poop caucus. They talk, where are these kids peeing? Where are they pooping? I don't know. That's all they talk about. They didn't talk about real issues that people were feeling," unquote. At the end of the race, the total votes came out about 320,000 for Spanberger and about 113,000 for Earl Sears, showing a huge Democratic victory and the ineffectiveness of the ad. New York City has seen even more action this election with their mayoral election. The whole internet has been watching as the prior candidate, Zohran Mamdani, swept New Yorkers off their feet and cornered the popular young vote. This was due to Mamdani's drive to help the immigrant and minority populations in the city. He specifically spoke out in support of the transgender community by releasing a YouTube video. Its purpose was to show his understanding of trans New Yorkers, what they have faced historically in the city, and how he wants to help. The video, Until It's Done, Sylvia Rivera, commemorates Sylvia Rivera and her fight in the 1960s and 70s. The video starts with Mamdani sitting at a desk on the Christopher Street Pier. He talks about how a vast number of homeless trans New Yorkers found themselves there, including Rivera. She ended up there after running away from an abusive home at 11 and grew up to fight for civil and gay rights, despite being discouraged from marching in the Pride marches. She even faced backlash and judgment in the queer community. Despite all of her struggles, Rivera met Marsha P. Johnson, and they founded STAR together. Street Transvestite Action Revolutionaries was built by them to support the homeless trans youth and street workers. Mamdani reflects in the video on how Trump has, quote, "expended enormous energy," unquote, to attack a minority. He ends the video saying, quote, "In a time of darkness, New York must be the light," unquote. Since the video has been posted on October 11th, Mamdani won the New York mayoral election on November 4th. Other elections in smaller communities have been making headlines as well. The township of Downingtown, Pennsylvania, elected its first transgender mayor, Erica Dusso. She was elected on November 4th with plans to address and improve flood plans, domestic violence issues, and city budgeting. She received multiple calls from all over the world to congratulate her on her win. She has even stated, quote, "I am overwhelmed by the outpouring of support," unquote. While Dusso has expressed how honored she is to win the mayoral election, she has noted that it was not her identity that inspired her to run for office. She stated, quote, "I approach my life as being a good neighbor," unquote, to mirror the philosophy of the Downingtown community. She also stated, quote, "I want to be somebody who can be a role model as well. I may be the first, but I'm not going to be the last. It didn't matter about my history or my identity. What matters is that I'm going to be that neighbor they can count on," unquote. Dusso is originally from Vermont and has gathered a background in business and science. She was also one of more than 170-plus candidates nationwide endorsed by the LGBTQ+ Victory Fund. Daniel Hernandez, the LGBTQ+ Victory Fund Vice President of Political Programming, released a statement that the wins the candidates they supported are occurring not due to their identity, but because of their skills. Dusso's win is also significant due to the current political climate's views on transgender people. The current political climate has also pushed more Republican-leaning candidates to run in polls across the country, with certain communities making controversial moves. In Augusta, Maine, there was a school board election with a candidate that sought to overturn trans protections. The school board voted and backed 3 candidates that were supported by the Democratic Party. There was one challenger that was rejected due to their campaign centering around rolling back the aforementioned protections and policy. The headline centered around the intense debates over the policy which upholds students' rights to access sports teams and school facilities aligning with their gender identity. 3 audience members even staged a demonstration by stripping off their clothes during a public meeting. This was presented by the group as a way to demonstrate their interpretation of the discomfort cisgender students may feel when asked to share spaces with transgender students. Videos of this particular meeting even went viral due to the extreme display. This recent school board debate has occurred after and during the numerous anti-trans bills aimed to rescind protections for trans students, with many of these bills facing passage in Maine legislature. School board members that were voted in for the city of Augusta are Rita Pella with 58% of the votes, Bobby Joe Beckard, and Samuel Baker. They were all candidates who voted to keep the school's current policies. Each of these candidates thanked their community for standing up for their students' rights and freedoms. Other opposition was seen in Arizona and California, with the University of Arizona and the University of Southern California. Both universities joined others in rejecting a compact sent to them from the government. This compact offered financial incentives in exchange for adopting what they called reforms. These actually included anti-trans measures, anti-immigrant provisions, attacks on diversity programs, and war restrictions on student protests. The alternative was the government threatening federal funding withdrawal. These rejections came after other institutions agreed to the compact or other similar demands from the government. The University of Arizona saw 18 student organizations demonstrate and condemn the proposal. Many professors also denounced the compact as both discriminatory and politically motivated. USC Interim President Byung-Soo Kim had this to say, quote, USC fully agrees that academic excellence cannot exist without a vibrant marketplace of ideas where all different views can be explored, debated, and challenged. To foster such an environment at USC, we have committed ourselves to institutional neutrality and launched a number of initiatives designed to promote civil discourse across the ideological spectrum. Without an environment where students and faculty can freely debate a broad range of ideas and viewpoints, we could not produce outstanding research, teach our students to think critically, or instill the civic values needed for our democracy to flourish. These statements were followed by USC's Professor Edward Saxon and Vice Dean of Faculty and Research Amelia Jones. Saxon said, quote, History will not judge USC kindly if it agrees to this compact. The government is clearly engaged in a war on education. Capitulation is the fastest route to ruin. Jones said, quote, There can be no negotiation. They are playing by the fascist playbook. Specific teachers also showed support for the transgender students. Quote, For those of you who are trans on this campus, we stand by you. What I'm worried about as we sit here and determine whether our university is going to sign this compact is that it's already been leveraged by this administration, said Dr. Carol Brochin of the College of Education. The University of Arizona Faculty Senate did take a vote on the compact, and it failed 40-8. Other universities who have denied agreeing to the compact include MIT, Dartmouth, and the University of Virginia. A couple of universities in the country did not agree to the compact, but did agree to similar demands from the government, including whether or not they would receive funding. These include Brown University and the University of Pennsylvania. Their demands included elements of discrimination against current students. A few of the Ivy League schools are now witnessing backlash due to fully agreeing to the compact sent to them. These include Harvard and Columbia University. With the University of Arizona and the University of Southern California raising their own resistance, they have given other educational facilities across the country the groundwork to continue their resistance to comply with these compacts as well. Numerous other schools and institutions have been noted doing the same in North Virginia, Chicago, Denver, and New York City. Other organizations in San Francisco are also stepping into the fray of protecting the rights of trans people. The organization Parivar is a local San Francisco nonprofit that launched its first legal aid program for trans immigrants. Parivar means family in Hindi and has been serving the city's South Asian queer immigrant community for 6 years. It was founded by Anjali Rimi, a trans woman from Hyderabad in South India. She and the organization have raised over $200,000 in groceries and rent relief, hosted public health initiatives, and provided translators for residents. On October 20th, Parivar announced a partnership with Oaken Law to offer discounted legal aid with attorneys versed in helping trans people that are seeking asylum. The announcement coincided with the opening of the nonprofit's first public location in San Francisco. The director of the San Francisco Office of Trans Initiatives, Honey Mahogany, was there during the opening ceremony. Other leaders in the community were there as well, including the District 8 Supervisor Raphael Mandelman, representatives from Mayor Daniel Laurie, Assembly Member Matt Haney, and the District 5 Supervisor of Bilal Mahmood's offices. After only 1 week, the program received 17 inquiries and has taken on 2 asylum cases. So if you are an immigrant seeking help in San Francisco, they can offer legal help with a 30% discount for trans immigrants or asylum seekers. Trans immigrants might even receive a stipend of up to $1,500 for legal costs. Anjali Rimi stated, quote, "We want to build the world's largest family, centering unapologetically transgender people, transgender immigrants," unquote. This was spoken to the crowd at the building's opening. In medical news, the Journal of the Endocrine Society recently published a new study on the uses of estradiol. Estradiol is commonly used in hormone replacement therapy for trans women, and doctors may be considering a change in dose. Since 2009, doses have remained largely consistent with minor changes here or there. Then in 2017, doses for parenteral estradiol changed, while oral estradiol doses have remained the same, and serum estradiol, or injections, vary depending on pre-existing conditions and may not be available everywhere. While the study itself is complex in the way that any medical study tends to get, we can break it down for you here. Estradiol, which is just a generic medicine name for estrogen, has levels that are measured and meant to fall in a certain range of what is called picograms per milliliter. Within this measurement, estrogen levels in cis women usually fall between the 100 to 200 picograms per milliliter range. This is called the therapeutic range. This is also the goal levels for trans women with estradiol and other medical estrogens. Sometimes, levels fall under the 100 picograms per milliliter, which is the subtherapeutic range, and rising above the 200 picograms per milliliter is called the supertherapeutic range. The study found that doses in different versions of the medicine were either in the subtherapeutic range or the supertherapeutic range. Now doctors are finally changing the dosage guidelines to match that dose trans women and cis women need to achieve the numbers in that therapeutic range. Outside of mayoral election wins, support, and strides in hormone therapy in November, there were some unfortunately interesting news stories during November and December into the new year. An NSA employee by the name of Sarah O'Neill filed a lawsuit against the current administration for a violation of civil rights. O'Neill is a trans woman who is out about her identity. This means her workplace, where she works as a data scientist in Maryland, has been aware of her identity. However, due to certain executive orders, which we have covered before are not fully lawful orders, restrictions have been placed on her during her employment. The lawsuit was filed on Monday, December 2nd, 2025, in the U.S. District Court of Maryland. It claims that the administration violated Title VII of the Civil Rights Act by enforcing earlier executive orders from last year. These executive orders denied the existence of transgender people and forced many into single-sex facilities based on their sex at birth. In the lawsuit, it has been stated that the order has deprived O'Neill of, quote, right to a workplace free of unlawful harassment, unquote, and by quote, prohibiting her from using the woman's restroom at work, unquote. All of which are things many women like her have had to face the past year into this one. The lawsuit cites the 2020 U.S. Supreme Court ruling of Bostock v. Clayton, which prevents employment discrimination against transgender people under Title VII. O'Neill's goal is to seek financial damages and restoration of her workplace protections. As of writing the script, the lawsuit is still underway. Outside of federal workplaces and looking towards public schools once more, some are taking steps to protect their student body in the wake of anti-trans agendas. A school district in Maine passed inclusive policies to protect their transgender and minority students' rights before the end of 2025. Then, once they came back from break, faculty and students noticed an increase in campus security. The school board voted in December to approve the measures to include bathroom unbans and access for trans students, as well as cracking down on bullying when intentional misgendering is involved. Over the break, the school district and board members alike received what they described as unsettling and concerning comments in response to its trans-inclusive policies. The comments were found on the local community pages as well as social media platforms. The school board did notify parents, teachers, and staff on the increase in protective services to continue fostering a, quote, safe, respectful, and welcome environment for all who learn and work in our schools, unquote, stated by the superintendent, Audra Beauvais. Some board members have shared the comments they received. Board member Allison Herlihay said, quote, I have received a message stating that somebody wanted to throw my children into a bathroom that they don't identify with and, quote, see what would happen, unquote. The district has gratefully committed to protecting the students for the time being. This entire battle follows Maine's fight against the administration over executive orders. To add a small update on the specific funding cuts based on the sports ban, it was injunctioned by a federal court judge in May, then a separate injunction occurred in October. This prevented the administration from withholding funding from 16 states so far. There has also been continued pushback in other forms of academia across the country, many of which making the offensive party look rather small in their actions. Back in 2022, a young woman tied for 5th place in the 200-yard freestyle at the 2022 NCAA Division I Women's Swimming and Diving Championships. Since then, she has been spending the last 6 years aggravated and attacking her fellow swimmer, a trans woman who she tied with in the race. The young woman's main complaint was that if her opponent wasn't allowed to compete, she would have not only taken 5th place, this is 5th mind you, she wouldn't have had to wait for her plaque to be shipped instead of handed to her at the event. Despite this being a lower ranking and a minor inconvenience that her opponent had nothing to do with, she has gone on multiple talk shows to push for sports bans for trans women. A similar action that happened more recently follows the same vein of inane thinking and even went viral. Many people heard about the young woman attending the University of Oklahoma and her essay. She received a failing grade on her essay, which was a 650-word paper claiming how trans people are, quote, demonic, unquote, and that gender roles are, quote, biblically ordained, unquote. The essay, however, had absolutely no cited sources, even from the Bible she was claiming to quote. This essay was read by multiple reviewers for grading, all of which failed the paper. The instructor, who is coincidentally trans, gave her the final failing grade and informed her that she wasn't being failed for the belief she held, but because it didn't even match the assignment for the class. It was also noted to be contradictory, used personal beliefs over evidence and studies, and offensive in much of its content. I personally think the instructor was holding back on that last part. A quote from the Advocate, which stole the words right out of my brain, though they absolutely came up with this first, quote, "These are standards upheld at all serious academic institutions, and would see her paper receive 0 points even in an 8th grade class given the assignment of baby's first essay," unquote. I even wrote that citation down by hand to retype, and here's a picture for proof. This student instead went on to file a complaint with the school, and to many people's shock, the school sided with her, placing the instructor on administrative leave with the university and later let go. The student has also gone on multiple talk shows to defend her viewpoints, while in the meantime, the university is facing scrutiny as well as a legal case with the now former instructor. Not all is unsettling moments and ongoing lawsuits in the new year, thankfully. For a final quick look, we have 3 final good news points for everyone to explore. The former New York City Mayor Eric Adams left his position by pivoting in some support for trans organizations. The former mayor donated $2 million in emergency funds to different trans organizations in New York City despite prior interests with the government's current administration, as well as his criminal charges while in office. Second, there has been data from multiple public places in England that show after recent anti-trans legislation, only 4 complaints were filed on trans women entering women's bathrooms. Now, this is not because trans women aren't using public restrooms, but simply because the general citizenry did not actually give a crap if they needed to or not. Finally, Cardi B made news recently when she proclaimed she was for the dolls, which is a common phrase to show support for trans women. The pop star gave her trans audience credit during Untucked, which is a TV show spin-off of RuPaul's Drag Race. She also stated that she has grown thanks to the trans community. Cardi B said, quote, "These are my dolls, and don't ever get it twisted," unquote. The final segment today is upcoming dates in February and March that are of importance for the whole of the LGBTQ community. February 7th, we observe National Black HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. February 12th, we observe National Freedom to Marry Day. February 16th to 22nd, we observe Aromantic Spectrum Awareness Week. February 20th, we observe Transgender Men and Trans Mask Day in Brazil specifically. February 22nd, we observe Chosen Family Day. February 28th, we observe HIV is Not a Crime Awareness Day. Month-long observations include Black History Month in the US and LGBT History Month in the UK. And in March, we will see many more dates and monthly celebrations with March 1st, we observe Zero Discrimination Day. March 10th, we observe National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness Day. March 16th to the 20th, we observe National LGBT Health Awareness Week. March 20th, we observe National HIV/AIDS Awareness Day and Two-Spirit and Indigenous LGBTQIA+ Awareness Day. March 25th, Brazil observes National Gay Pride Day. March 31st, we observe International Transgender Day of Visibility and Transgender Youth Day of Visibility. And month-long observations include Women's History Month, Bisexual Awareness Month, and Japan holding a special weekend for butch lesbians during the month. There are certainly many events that have brought us into the new year, both good and bad. As we move forward towards different times, we can remember the positive ones we have taken so far, and the positive steps we are eager to take. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time. Stay proud, my trans siblings, and stick with us. See ya! You can also check out our other playlists on the channel for the 101, current events review, studies, history, interviews, mythos, and more.